everything is different to what it was a year ago. Actually, more for my family probably than it is for me personally. But that's what goes with the privilege of this job. I mean, look, there's lots of stuff that's in my control, and as I said right at the beginning, to be able to make decisions is a huge privilege. However, there's a lot of things that are out of our control as well, you know, whether that is tariffs or what's happening in the global economy, that you've got to be very agile and respond to the world as it is, not necessarily the world as you want it to be.
And I think that there's nobody in this room who doesn't understand that you've, in the words of Mike Tyson, you're the living example of everybody's got a strategy till you hit them in the face. Yeah. And you've had some things come along and been hit in the face. And on the family side, as I told you when we met the other, I am a political child as well. So I understand what it's like, the pressure that can be on that. But just moving on, let's move on to what seems to me to be politically. When I saw your policies come up, I said, that's really brave. There's stuff here that has not been done for decades. Planning, regulation, the Oxfam London Arc, building reservoirs, the AI super. I mean, going at this infrastructure with a will that I see has not been done for a long time. The trouble is, the benefit of that is not going to be seen much for a hell of a long time. I mean, 4 or 5 years. In the meantime, you've done some things that are not, shall we say, wildly popular in this room. There's a lot of short-term pain for business with things that, and it's been your judgments that you've had to do them. Do you feel comfortable? I mean, is that playing out the way that you thought it would? That you go and set some long-term objectives, but we've got short-term pain, and we're just going to have to get through that.
So we had to make a number of decisions last year, both last July, as soon as we came into office, to address some of the problems around fiscal sustainability, and then further set of decisions in the budget last year, which did involve increasing taxes on businesses and some of the wealthiest in society, to ensure that our public finances are now on a firm footing, and to ensure we had that injection of cash to put in frontline public services. But also in the budget last year, we changed the fiscal rules. So the first of the fiscal rules is the stability rule, which means that we are not able to borrow for day-to-day spending. And that is a tough rule, but I think it is economically the right thing to do, because I don't think that future generations should pay for the spending that benefits us today. And so that has been difficult, but I think it is what has enabled the Bank of England to cut interest rates 4 times in the last year, because we now do have our public finances on a firm footing. And that's good for business, and it's good for families. It means that families are paying less in mortgages than they otherwise would have done, more money to spend in the economy. It means the borrowing costs of businesses are coming down, although I recognise that there's certainly more to do on that front. But the cost of that was putting up taxes to make sure that we are covering our spending and being able to, bring NHS waiting lists down, which we have done with, I think, 3 million additional appointments in the first 10 months, which again is good for families, but it's also good for business, because too many people are not available for work because they are waiting for treatment in the health service. But the second of the rules, of the fiscal rules, is the investment rule, and I think that is the one that is most sort of transformative for business and for the country, and that's the fiscal rule that says that we need to bring debt down as a share of our economy, but subject to that we should be able to invest in the things that are good for growth and productivity. And that's what enabled me yesterday to announce £15.6 billion of investment in city region transport schemes. And look, I recognise that some of these things take a while to pay off, but I'm not going to make an apology for that. We've got to act in the national interest and the long-term interest of our country. But on the other hand, we're going to see spades in the ground for a number of projects in this Parliament. You know, Heathrow has made the commitment that there will be spades in the ground there for the third runway in this Parliament.
But it takes a long time. So, listen, this is not coming from a thing of saying we think, you know, I think that you are doing, or CBI thinks you're doing the wrong thing. We think you're doing the right thing on these long-term things. I'm just slightly worried that it's going to take, that the gap between flash to bang, because these things always take longer than you think.
But one of the problems we've had in the last few years is that all the decisions are short-term. It's sticking plaster politics rather than actually dealing with some of the fundamental challenges that we face. But, you know, look, I'm certainly not complacent in any way at all. That's not in my nature. But the most recent GDP numbers, 0.7% growth in the first quarter of this year, the strongest growth in the G7. The most recent business surveys, including from Lloyds Banking Group, who are sponsoring this evening, very positive. And that is good news. It does show that I think we're beginning to turn a corner. And